Hello, this is Pretty.conspiracy, and this is Kay. I do have a new IG, Instagram. It's Pretty.conspiracy is my Instagram if you want to check it out. And um, I have so many ideas in my head because there's so many topics that I like talking about and that I want to dive into. My channel, I do it for fun. It's a hobby, but it's not for everybody. It really isn't. It's just something I do for fun and for hobby. I like researching things. And I like when people actually share with me their theories on different conspiracies, because there's a whole lot. I deal mainly with sports conspiracies, athletes, and I think because I just generally love sports. But I think I wanted to dive into other areas as well, but that's neither here nor there. Um, there was a conspiracy that I had really never even thought about, actually, never even considered. It was one that I came across very recently. Um, it was the conspiracy or the theory of, did Magic Johnson actually have HIV? Or was that a hoax? Now, granted, over the years, because this has been it was like almost 30 years ago when he announced that, and I remember that very vividly, even though I was a really little girl, him making that press conference, and I was like, my eyes was just like open, like, why? And I remember going telling my oldest brother, like, did you just see what he just said? My brother was like, what? It was a big deal, and it was very shocking. Um, but over the years, there has been speculation. I remember saying that, yeah, some people didn't believe that he actually had contracted the HIV virus because he's never had AIDS. He said his T cell level was so high that there was no HIV in his blood, so it was undetectable. Now, for the sake of argument, there have been a lot of people who have been diagnosed with HIV, but who no longer have the virus detectable in their bloodstream. And for various reasons, maybe because drugs, they're taking certain medicines. Now, the speculation which caught my eye about why certain somebody, I can't recall the YouTuber that I saw this on. If I did, I would shout them out, but I'm sure there's various YouTubers and conspiracy theorists across the YouTube who probably touched on this topic before, but said that the AZT drug, now remember that drug? That drug was the rage in the late 80s and early 90s. And it was touted as some type of miracle drug that was to not necessarily cure HIV, but to control it. That drug, though, was disastrous because it was first and foremost a drug for cancer, a cancer drug, and so giving it to HIV patients who, if you don't know about HIV and AIDS, a lot of the AIDS patients who get full-blown AIDS die from cancer, AIDS-related cancer, and so not so much as they die from the disease itself, they die from other things that they catch because their immune system is so low. and cancer is usually one of them. And so this was a cancer drug at first, and they did very little research before they started giving it to HIV patients. As a matter of fact, I had to read up on the drug because I wanted to know more about, because it's not talked about anymore. Remember, was a drug that Magic Johnson was pushing heavily in the early 90s, saying that it was what made his HIV undetectable. And they were actually using AIDS patients as guinea pigs. I believe if I read that correctly, because they assumed that they were already going to die anyway. So why not just give them this drug? The drugs had disastrous effects on them, and that was one of the reasons people said that Magic Johnson did not have, in fact, have HIV. It is also said that he had to make a sacrifice, and instead of a blood sacrifice, he sacrificed himself and his image by saying he was HIV positive, because there's just such a stigma to it, and people look at you differently, right? So you remember there have been other stories of people making sacrifices in the NBA, such as Michael Jordan with his father. Now, I don't know. There's so many coincidences that you kind of you can speculate things. You can kind of try to connect the dots, but you never really know, right? So that was a new one. I don't know if you guys ever heard that one. I had never really heard that one. And if in fact you believe that this is to be true, please, if you haven't commented, comment, talk to me. I'm here for you. If you are my fellow conspiracy theorist, feel free to contact me. Feel free to comment, like my video. Yeah, let's chop it up, Anywho, I have more videos on the horizon, so I'll talk to you soon.